Ladies and gentlemen, a fan of the power of resilience and reinvention. Today we'll start. We will welcome Afan Rauf. Thank you very much, Afan Rauf, joining the session.
Thank
And
you for having me.
yeah, thank you. And really, I'm excited to listen from you, your journey from being an electrical engineer, and then you have shifted from engineering to public policy to corporate relations. So, what's been your guiding principle through these transitions multiple times? Something.
You see, when I was just to walk you through my academic journey, I started my bachelor's electrical engineering, in UET back in 2013. In those days, the decision-making parameter of me choosing electrical engineering from a public sector university came out of naivety. It was not a very rational sort of decision because if you remember, in those days, the merit of electrical engineering across all the mainstream public universities or private universities used to be high. So the decision making parameter for me was to took this decision realizing that if I pursue something whose merit was high, that would give me a passport to eternal success or something like that. It was not a logical decision, or at that time there was nothing that could tell me what would I be doing once I complete my degree from UED. So I just went blindly, thinking if I pursue something, this can merit high hope. It'll be a good thing, somewhat good thing for me. So that's how I ended up UED in 2013. Of course, hostel life gave me experience that I had never been exposed to. I went to Texla for the first time in my life. I packed up my bags. I went to hostel for almost 1.5 semester. I was a day scholar. I was living with my relative who used to live in Islamabad. So I would commute daily. I was a day scholar, but soon after my second semester was completed, I shifted to hostel and to start my new life, and what came out to be a very productive and rewarding experience for me. But to be very honest, my performance in UT, as you of course would remember, was not so good. It was dismal. And I stumbled throughout the course of my engineering program in UET, and there would be days when I would think that next semester I would leave, pack my bags to Lahore, reappear in the entry test, and would get admission in some other university. I was so fed up, and the challenges in those days were not related to academics. I had to encounter social challenges and adjustment problems, and electrical engineering never excited me, to be very honest. So it was like, now I have ended up in this university. I have to go through this program, by hook or by crook, through one way or another. There is no backing out, but there was no going forward as well. But if you, but just to share, when I was graduating in 2017, my degree was I had, I think, more Fs in my degrees than I had As, and out of a batch of 180 in those days, I was amongst the lowest 10 percent students, in terms of academic score, and my GPA was 2.5. And I'm very happy to share, because of course there's no good to like hide. My performance was not so good. My confidence was shattered, and I just came back home. But you see, in those days, after coming back home, I starting applying to different jobs, and frustration was kind of coming in, because I was applying to so many places, and none of those efforts, were leading to fruition. But I was always very much passionate about reaching out to people. I was socially very inquisitive. I had that intellectual curiosity that whoever I was inspired with, I would reach out to that person, spend time with that person. UET was unable to, unfortunately, provide me that platform. Of course, it had other reasons as well, because it was situated at a remote location. The degree that I was pursuing never made any sense. I had to just do it because I eventually was ended up in that program. But once I graduated out of UET, I had made my mind that 4 years I had spent in UET. Now the next years of my life I would not kind of jeopardize. I would not, be getting myself through circumstances that I had been in UET. So I applied to different universities. In those days, I had realized that academic institutions and the social exposure that you get through, in an academic institution really matters. So I applied to Lahore University of Management Sciences. In those days, getting into LUMS was not very easy. My GPA was not so good, but I got in. I kind of convinced the interviewer. The job was related to a research associate. This I'm talking about the end of 2017, 2018 start, and my job was to collect the data related to a project that was about digitizing the irrigation system in Punjab. It was an HEC funded project, so I was pretty much doing everything in terms of assisting the faculty member who was handed over that project from HEC, right? So I was collecting the data, I was putting it on SPSS and drawing analysis, and writing, helping him write the research paper. I was doing pretty much everything. But the knowledge that I got through the social exposure and connections that I was able to make at LUMS was much, much more than I was able to get through that core academic knowledge. So at that time, I had realized that it's a social exposure that kind of grooms you, not just what is written in books on academic exposure doesn't take you far as long as you are not socially equipped. So I spent 2 years at LAMS, and after that my contract was over. Long story short, because there had to be a vacancy in order to get your contract renewed. Vacancy was not there. Again, I was out in the market. But now, in retrospect, I would like to believe that I had made a very strong move that I had applied to NUST, National University of Sciences and Technology. In one of their programs called Energy Systems Engineering. This was based out of US Pakistan Centers for Advanced Studies in Energy. Again, getting into NUST was not very easy because you see the batch size in UET was 180, but batch size at NUST was 30. So batch size was very small. So competition was very high. My GPA was 2.6, so I really had one shot at that time, and that was to perform good at GET. So I topped GET in my GET examination in Lahore, or maybe in Pakistan. So I was at number one. So I really had one shot, and I gave my level best in order to compensate my GPA, because that was only variable at that time. I could not do anything, with my GPA to my GPA. So I landed at NUST. This was 2019. I started my degree, and my degree was everything related to renewable energy. So each renewable energy technology was my course, was my separate course at NAS. So I studied solar energy as a course. I studied wind energy as a course. I studied modeling of energy systems. I studied, I would say biofuels energy and climate change. The whole science of climate change. I came across, while I was doing that degree. So it was a very rewarding experience. See, what I was studying at NUST was very different, compared to what I had studied in UET, because NUST decision came out of rationale behind, that I'm going to pursue, I'm going to study what I am passionate about. That passion, I had concluded, and kind of, I would say, realized when I was doing research work at Lahore University of Management Sciences some months back. So yeah, long story short, my research work at NUST was to quantify the environmental impacts of brick making kilns in Pakistan. It was the study that was being conducted for the first time in Pakistan. It was again a project that was funded by that was funded by the Ministry of Climate Change to and NUST, and I executed it study. It required a lot of traveling, so I started traveling from up country all the way to southern Sindh. It was a very rigorous sort of challenging job, because in those days COVID was at its peak. So I had to meet different brick kiln owners and labor force that was working there, collecting the data. I would come back and then put the data on different data analysis softwares and would draw conclusions out of it. It was not such easy task, because you see, brick kiln owners do not give you the data, because they have that sort of apprehension that once you take the data, the next day the raid would happen at their site, and that their business will be shut. So but yeah, I spent 2 years in that ecosystem. The social exposure was amazing. I made lots of amazing friends there. I've still so many sort of people from NUS that I'm friends with. So I graduated as a silver medalist. My GPA was 3.9. So that was a journey from getting 2.6 from UET and 3.9 at NAST. It gave me confidence. It boosted my morale. It kind of made me realize that GPA does not define somebody. In those days, people used to think of, may have been, thinking of me as someone who is not capable of doing big stuff in life in UET. But the same people, when I graduated NUST, used to call me and said, bro, what are you doing? How have you been able to make that trajectory shift, which, in hindsight might seem easy, but it was at that time not so easy. To completely shift and then, perform well in the research work, and that too in a batch size that was very small, talking about 30 compared to 180 that was in UET. But when I graduated from NUST in 2022, the confidence was there. So my supervisor called me that Afan, your GP is good. Your research was published in a Seven Impact Factor journal. I was among the I was the second, in terms of second student in my batch size in my batch who was able to complete my research work on time. I completed my research work. The article is published in 7 months. So I was working day and night at NUST. Once I graduated from NUST, I had two options: whether I could join, field, or start working at some, multinational related to oil and gas, and and so forth, or I can start my PhD. So conventional wisdom would have said, go start a PhD outside Pakistan. But at that time, I had realized that if you are not passionate about something, that does not mean you cannot perform well in that thing. To be very honest, I was not very passionate, what I had studied at NUST, even though I performed well. I was silver medalist. I published my research article, in the fastest possible way. And my supervisor was literally after me. She was like, "Funding is here. Why don't you opt for a PhD? Like funding is waiting for you." But I could not compel myself to do something that I was not truly passionate about. So I was very passionate about developing corporate relationships. Even when I was in UET, even rest of my friends in hostel, as you know, you are also from UET, I know, batch of 2005, that when many of the students would watch seasons or movies, I would be that boring student who would watch on YouTube the interview of, let's say, CEO of Citibank, yeah, CEO of JP Morgan Chase, or CEO of General Electric, so on and so forth. In those days, I could have never thought how would that passion lead to doing something related to my career. I had not a clue. Again, when I was studying energy system engineering at NUST, I would watch such interviews, not only about the foreign CEOs of foreign companies, but also CEOs of the companies in Pakistan. I would watch interviews of Syed Babar Ali, who is the founder of LAMS, and Abdul Razak Daud, who is the founder of Descon, so on and so forth. Never knowing, how would I be able to make a career out of it. It was eventually when I graduated from NUST that I wrote a special letter to LUMS, to the director of their corporate relations, that, I literally wrote to her that you got to give me a chance in order to prove myself that I can add value to the corporate relations functions at LUMS. And the good thing was that I was being interviewed. They didn't just reject my email. I was being interviewed, and the interview lasted for, like, I would say, 1 hour, for, I think, for 3 days each. It was a very tough interview. I was being yeah, interviewed with the director of corporate relations, just based out of email. My academics had nothing to support that. Again, energy systems, electrical engineering in UT had nothing to do with what I was being supposed to do at LUMS. But eventually, long story short, I got into LUMS, and that was the start of my, I think, career. LUMS gave me that platform to have one-on-one conversations with all the business leaders in Pakistan. I was not accompanying anybody. It was, I think, my passion that I was able to, exercise, and I was able to, get something out of what I had always dreamt of. Having one-on-one conversation with the industry and business leaders in Pakistan. So I had one-on-one meetings with, for example, the legendary Saeed Babar Ali, Abdul Razak Dawood, Tariq Said Sehgal of Maple Leaf, and presidents of all the various banks. So these are all just the main people. But every day I had something to look forward to at LUMS, and I was, I think, the youngest one at LUMS who was able to forge, such strong and meaningful corporate relationships that some of the other senior people were not able to do. And I'm not saying something against them, but I think I was working day and hard because I was believing that I'm doing something meaningful, because I was able to use my passion, and lumps provided me that platform. My If I were to tell you about my job, that was to increase the placement portfolio of MBA students out of lumps, right, by increasing the corporate relations portfolio for them. So I was reaching out to CEOs, inviting them over to campus for guest speaker sessions. I was making collaborations of industry leaders with lumps, and it was such a exciting thing, and I had to work really hard because I had nothing to back that up, in terms of my degree. I spent 3 years at LUMS, and those 3 years at LUMS defined my career trajectory. It was such a fulfilling job, and I was able to meet people. I was able to achieve things that I could only once dream of. I came across so many people. For example, founder of Sapphire, Mia Muhammad Abdullah, he's one of the finest business in Pakistan. And then I came across Salim Ghori of NetSol, and so many people. I would meet them, would take a picture as a to take as a memory, and then would come back to my office and would post that picture on LinkedIn and would increase my placement portfolio. I was the only one at LUMS who was able to reach out to the secretary of your World Bank, the president of World Bank, Ajay Banga. So I invited him. So I was able to do things that many of the people are unable to do. I think they lack confidence and they are just doing what is written on in books or something like that. Uh, After 3 years at LAMS, I wanted a switch because I thought I had achieved what I thought what I achieved what I dreamed. So I came across this person called Khalid Awan, who is the founder and chairman of TCS. He invited me for a breakfast in Serena some months ago. I met him in Serena. So I think that meeting was very rewarding, and that meeting made me realize that now TCS would be a company where I would be able to contribute based on my experience and based on my previous network. So yeah, then he opened the pathway to enter TCS. I had never been to Karachi. So this is the picture you've just come across with Khalid Awan. I think it was at Awari. It was my second or third meeting at Awari, Lahore. The second picture of my father is in between Khalid Saab and me. So yeah, he offered me that position. So I went to Karachi. I started this position on the 10th of February. The experience has been very rewarding. So I'm looking after the entire Pan Pakistan corporate relations portfolio of TCS, working directly with the chairman, Khalid Awan, and of course with the chief growth officer Ahmad Zafar, who has been the past CEO of Philips as well. He's now the chief growth officer of TCS. And I shifted to Karachi because the decision was not very easy. I'd never been to Karachi before, and start in order to start job, a new company, new people at a new place. It was a very challenging experience, but it taught me a lot.
That's great. That's wonderful. And I have during your conversation, I have asked very short questions. If you want to compare the Nest with UET, because you highlighted that something in Nest, not in UET, just for the
Yes.
audience, curiosity, just please.
Yes. I think the main difference is the social exposure. Between in two universities, that is very different, and it has a lot to do with the filters that you put when you admit students in both of those institutions. In UET, the students are coming from a different kind of background, and they carry different kind of socio-economic background. While at NUST, the students are the experience that students are carrying, social experience and academic experience, it is quite different. So again, I think it depends on you and how are you able to connect with people. I mean, there were many students who would, I would say, rate UET better than NUST because they were more comfortable developing those kind of networks in UET because those kind of networks were being resonated. What they wanted to become like in the future. My friendships in UET were very limited, but at NUST I was able to make so many friends. It really depends on you कि आप किस तरह का बनना चाहते हैं और आप कौन से kind of people you look up to. Or there are certain traits in every person जो कि आपको लगता है कि ये मेरे में डिफ्यूज होनी चाहिए और ये मैं अपने में इनकलकेट करूँ. So the difference in both universities, again, to answer your question, is socio-economic backgrounds का जो exposure है.
That's great. Yeah, great. एक चीज और मैं I'm curious about that. You use the software for the data analysis. Which software you used
It was
if
SPSS. It was simple SPSS जिस पे मैंने अपना
hmm.
किया था. बट जो मेरा रिसर्च वर्क था वो जो नस में था वो मैंने RET स्क्रीन भी यूज़ किया था, जिसमें ब्रिक किल का एनालिसिस किया था. एंड देयर इज सॉफ्टवेयर कॉल्ड सीमा प्रो. सो सीमा प्रो में आपका लाइफ साइकिल असेसमेंट हो सकती है ब्रिक किल की पूरी एक जो उसकी हिस्ट्री होती है. एक पूरा उसका जो लाइफ साइकिल असेसमेंट हो सकती है, स्टार्टेड फ्रॉम उसका जो रोस्टिंग प्रोसेस है, फिर उसका जो इसका जो कोल का जो मोल्डिंग प्रोसेस है, फिर उसका जो फाइनल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन प्रोसेस है, उसमें सारी कॉस्ट, उसकी सारी एनर्जीज, उसकी सारी लेबर इनपुट आउटपुट्स ऑल कंबाइंड, वो सारे लाइफ साइकिल आपका हो जाता है सीमा प्रो से. बट दैट स्टडी वाज बीइंग कंडक्टेड बाय एमोस नकुबे, जिसके साथ मैंने कोलैबोरेट किया था. He lives in Italy. At that time, he was pursuing in his PhD in Italy. Basically, he was from Zimbabwe. तो आई रीच आउट टू एमोस बिकॉज उसके पास वो सॉफ्टवेयर था.
Hmm.
I used to provide him the data in order for him to, conduct analysis for me. So it was again a very healthy experience. Goes back to my passion for reaching out to people. So I was the only one, in the batch of 30 who was able to complete his research work based on his collaboration with someone who was not from Pakistan. So it was again a very healthy kind of research. I'm still, very good friends with Amos. एंड वी स्टिल समटाइम्स जोक अबाउट हाउ इट वाज चैलेंजिंग फॉर अस, बिकॉज उसको समझ नहीं आती थी पाकिस्तान में डेटा क्या है. बहुत चैलेंजिंग था वो. फिर उसको स्ट्रीमलाइन करना और उसको नॉर्मलाइज करना डेटा को, और बेस पॉइंट सेम रखना, बट इट वाज अ हेल्दी लर्निंग.
Great, wonderful. And another thing, because there are 16 personality types of fun, and I want to know which personality type you have, so
जी
that
जी.
the people's relevant to that personality type can think this corporate is the relevant job for them, relevant career. So,
हम्म.
can you do you know is the MBTI types? There are 16 MBTI types, and which type you fall in? I mean.
Can you give some examples or some
Yeah.
options for me to choose?
Yeah, the options are. I will ask you question whether you are introvert or extrovert.
I'm very extrovert person.
Ah, great. And you think most of the future or live in present, just something like that.
I think it's opposite. At times I live in past.
Past
I
and
live in past as
present.
well.
Past and present.
Yeah,
Okay.
past and present. Yeah, I don't think
Okay.
about future. I'm a man of
And
faith, so I leave most of the things on Allah. I just take the
okay,
decision
okay,
and then
okay,
move
okay.
forward.
And another thing, you mostly think logically, or you are feeling based, or you can say feeling based approach. I mean,
I
you
think most of the decisions that I took in my life, were based on gut, were based on passion. They were not related to conventional wisdom or rationale. There was no rationale behind it, and I think it was also based on luck. For example, when I got into LUMS in 2019 to
yeah.
start corporate relations out of their business school, which is the most premier business school in Pakistan, there was no rationale behind me being hired. It was, I think, just a sheer luck. But whenever luck comes across you, you have to grab it, and that's where most of the people fail to get lucky, because they are unable to grab the luck. Luck keeps on coming across you every day. It's for you whether are able to whether you're able to are you able to grab it or not. So I take the decisions, and then I pray, and then I leave rest to Allah.
No, I mean, yeah, that's fine. But I mean, mostly the decision is based on by mind or by heart.
Heart,
If I
heart, heart. My mind is
okay,
not
okay,
capable
okay,
of
okay,
taking the decision that I had taken in my life.
okay.
So heart,
A-
I
and
step away.
I find it's interesting, and welcome to Malik Shujat, because he will perform as a co-host. And the last question
Ji,
about the personality.
thank you, Mr. V. Mr. V, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, Malik
Gee,
Shujat, just a
we
minute. I
can hear
just
you, G.
We can hear you. And just a minute, I just want to conclude the personality of Afan, because it's very critical that one of the 16th personality Afan has. Those people can think about this career. It's a really wonderful. And the last question of Afan, just to conclude your personality, whether you are go with the flow, or just you are very time you are a managed, or you can say calculated person.
Not
You
at
you
all.
just
No, no, Habib Sahib, not at all. I'm not that kind of person, who calculates. the matrices and parameters and all the maths before taking a decision. I just take the decision with the flow. And I think, as you also know, you have much more experience than I have, that high risks, high reward. And if you are not able to take risks, if you don't have that confidence to take risks, there will be a possibility that decisions would turn out to be positive, but their impact will be low. But if you are able to take a thoughtful decision, but thoughtful risk, that combines a replication that would be much more impactful as compared to taking a decision that doesn't involve any risk.
Oh, great, great. And it means you are flexible and go with the flow, not time, daily routine with the strict time management or something like that, pre-planned life. No, I think so.
No, whenever I take a decision, I don't carry my preconceived notions, because preconceived notions and predefined mindset, as far as I know, doesn't take you anywhere. If you are able to take a decision with confidence and based on your experience, you are following your gut, you are confident, and then you don't have that regret afterwards, even if the results do not turn out good, because you put your 100%, you leave the rest to Allah, because I am a man of faith. Had it not been for the faith that I had in my mind, I would not have that made it. I would not have made the decision to pack my bags and come to Karachi, because who knows how the life will churn out after moving to a new city and start working with new people, new culture, new team. Again, and that too after shortly after getting married. So it teaches I mean, that experience has taught me the power of faith, taking decisions based on gut. And you can't plan your future. Whatever you take, you own it and then stick to it. Don't listen to people, because 80% of the people will say you are going to take a wrong decision, and that happened in my case too. I mean, 70% of the people, not only related to my circle but in my family, told me that all the companies in Lahore have shut down for you to make a decision to Karachi. I said no, but let me just do it what I want, because you only know the circumstances you are going through. People are not able to comprehend. So don't listen to people. That's my logic. It may not work for everybody, but I don't listen to people when I'm truly opted to do something that I really want to do.
Yeah, great, wonderful. Afan, just to conclude that you are very flexible and you don't follow the routines.
I follow routines. Like, I'm a very disciplined person, but that doesn't mean that I'm not. It
No,
means
the
that I'm not
dominant
very
manner. It
regimented.
it
I don't
means
have that army routine to follow as per se. But yeah,
yeah.
I follow routine, discipline.
So
Without
Afan,
discipline, you do not get
Afan,
successful.
I just for your information as well, I just concluded your personality. Maybe it is wrong because with few questions is not possible. But
Okay,
you can study your personality. You are the entertainer, first one, and you are
right,
ESFP personality. And
right.
your strengths are you are bold, you are original, and you are positive and enthusiastic. You are hands-on and observant, and you are excellent people skill. So
What a
this,
nice analogy. Thank you so much
yeah,
for sharing.
and maybe you have to improve these areas. Everyone has
Ravi,
the
can I ask a
areas.
question?
Absolutely.
Doctor,
Uh,
am I okay?
Malik Saab, just a minute, just a minute. And you can see you are a very sensitive. So keep it in mind that don't feel if someone asking something and conflict averse. You cannot something and easily bored and poor long term planner maybe, and you need long term planners and unfocused. Maybe
Absolutely.
focusing
That's
power
true.
is very good. And for the audience who are this personality, they just follow a fan Rauf. To, if they are doing the electrical engineering or something, these kind of
Yeah.
things, just shift your career to corporate relations and this will be very good.
No, I would say not just corporate relations. They can move to every career, but I would
Very
suggest that
career.
do whatever interests them. Not just corporate relations. There's whole world out there, and they can
Yes,
choose any
yes.
field they want to. I chose corporate relations because it worked for me. It may not work for everybody, but yeah, everyone has to churn out their own lane of career.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. That's fine. And how about your future vision?
Future vision, I think for now, I'm working at TCS. I plan to, spend a couple of years here. And whenever I join an organization, I don't think that, I'd be leaving that organization after 3 years, after 5 years. Whenever I join an organization, I plan that I would, make the last breath in this organization. So that's how you are able to own that organization. That's how you are able to give your best to that organization. Because if you are thinking consistently that you would be leaving that organization after 5 years, then you'd always be, hung up to where you'd be moving next instead of doing your 100% at that time quite well. So it's very important. I think I do like that. For example, I'm working at TCS. I plan to spend the rest of my life at TCS as long as I'm growing and I am getting the right support system to groom myself and make decisions and climb up the ladder.
Wonderful, wonderful, Lafan. And no, another question, maybe on the screen. What was the hardest professional setback you faced, and how did you bounce back?
I think so many setbacks. I think academic setbacks were much more challenging for me than professional setbacks because I was again I had to pull off summers. I was I think the uh, one of the 3 4 students out of a batch of 180 who had to stay at hostel after everybody had left in 2017 just to clear my subjects that had F. I'm not even talking about the subjects in which I had D's. I think there were so many, but I had to pull summers only for those in which I had F's. So it was a very kind of embarrassing, and it was very disappointing. I was the only one in the hostel. There was nobody around, and it frustrates you at times. I used to think of me as someone who would not be able to get something in life because that's how everybody used to think of me, because people kind of make perceptions about your personality based on your academic scores. So it was a setback. My confidence levels were very shallow. I mean, the whole kind of motivation was crumbled.
Hmm.
But the setbacks, professional setbacks, I won't say. Whenever you join an organization, you get bad bosses, you get good bosses, you get happy times, you get bad times. It doesn't work in a linear way. Even if I'm working at TCS, I don't see it going on one pathway. It will be up and down ride, with all its blues, highs and lows, happy moments and sad moments. I think good moments we are always prepared because there is no need to prepare for the good moments. But for the bad moments, you have to keep yourself, keep prepared for the bad moments each and every day. I think that's what I try to do every day because they are inevitable. They are bound to come.
Great, great, Afan, great. It's a very inspiring story. And how do you stay connected to your passion when daily work and sometimes overwhelming or something
I
like
think
that?
that really depends. It's a very personal thing. So for me, it's meeting and building networking with new people. So in the coming months, I'm planning to meet the CEOs of some of the largest multinationals whose headquarters are based in Karachi. So in the coming months, I'll be meeting Mohammed Ali Tabba, who's the CEO of Lucky Group, and I'll be meeting Amir Pracha of Unilever, and so many other businessmen. And I just don't take it as doing something related to my job. I just take it as someone wants to eat food because it's my diet. Meeting people, it's just what fuels me. It fuels my passion. So that's how I keep myself away from the monotony of being, bored every day at job. I keep myself rejuvenated by searching out for new people, meeting new people, developing new relationships. Not only developing, but with time cultivating those relationships with time. I think it pays off. It is not very easy, but I mean, as you know, that if you're doing something based on your passion, that doesn't mean you wouldn't have to work hard. You have to work hard, but that hard work doesn't bother you because that's your passion. It doesn't, make you feel anything bad, or it doesn't, irritates you. But because at the end of the day, you are getting fulfillment out of it.
Great, great. And another question: what advice would you give to someone who feels stuck in a career path they no longer love, but fear starting over, something like that?
I think faith is very important, and you have to continue doing some way or the other way. Something that is very close to your heart or something that you are really passionate about. And I think I had my first meeting based on my passion. That was 2021, and that was I think it's on LinkedIn as well. If you go deep down my LinkedIn back in 2021, I met Bilal Musharraf, who is the son of former President Pervez Musharraf. I think at that time President Musharraf was alive. It was an hour long meeting. I think that was my first meeting, and that was not related to lums or something like that. But that meeting taught me that whatever image you have about a person who you are going to meet, when you talk to that person, you unfold human side of that person. You always, if you Habib Sahib, if you go to the images, you'll be able to get to that picture quite faster.
I think
In
so.
2022, if you go to the images, just images in my profile, and go deep down in 2022 December. It'll take you
No,
to my meeting with
Afan,
Bilal.
where is the option of images here? I didn't see this.
It'll be right at the top of my profile.
Ah, okay, okay, okay. Right of the.
So yes,
Okay.
always meeting people.
Sorry, I could not.
No, no, no.
Okay.
You no worries. You can look into it later.
Ah, images. Yeah, yeah. Nice, nice, nice. Thank you. So I will go through. I'm curious about this, and I want to. What you want to tell? I'm curious to show to the audience that which moments you want to share actually.
Yes, absolutely.
And here,
I think
oh well.
yeah. If you go up, yes, the person, the right side पे मेरी मलाला की picture के साथ. I think this is Bilal.
With the wheelchair, Malala, and then there is
Right
a
side
group.
पे जो है, right
Yeah,
side पे जो
man.
picture.
This one.
I'm not able to see. No, no, no. We go back.
Yes.
The one on the right. Yes, this is Bilal, the son of former President Pervez Musharraf.
Ah, okay, okay. It's face is also same like Parvez
Yeah, yeah.
Musharraf.
Quite look-alike to his father. Absolutely.
Okay, 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 okay.
So
Nice.
some of these relationships have turned into good friendships. So I'm very good. I'm in very good relationship with Bilal. Bilal, whenever he comes to
Hmm.
Karachi, I text him to have a coffee or something like that. I just don't meet people and come back, leaves
Hmm.
them. I am able to make most of these relationships into good friendships and good acquaintances.
Great, great, great. That's nice. Really inspiring. And another question, just fun if I want to share on screen so that you
Sure.
can see. For young professionals balancing multiple interests, how can they test new fields without fully quitting their current path or something? Is there any possibility or
I think
guideline?
first of all, you have to get away with the fear of failing. You
Hmm.
have to get away with the eventualities that people will feed in your mind when you share with them what decision you are going to take. For me, it worked out because I never got carried away with whatever people wanted me to do. It has always been my choice. It has always been my sense of fulfillment, and it has always been my thing, what I wanted to do in my life. But because most of the people tell you that, oh, people would tell me that you have done electrical engineering, 4 years spent, 4 years not a small period in your life, it changes your life. Most of these people, even my friends, would tell me that, if you had to do corporate relations, why would you why did you not think of doing BBA from some random university in Lahore? You better stayed in Lahore. But I
Hmm.
said, had it not been for the failures I encountered in UET, I would not have been able to achieve what little I've achieved today, because UET taught me to face with the failures head on. So yeah, don't listen to people. People will try to. Most of the people try to. There are people who back you up, who are with you, but most of the people, they do not know what you want to do. In your life. So mostly they'll put you down. Stay away from those people, because such people feed negativity.
Oh, yes, nice. That's nice. And how you define purpose in your career for some?
Purpose is very personal. Purpose is again passion. It's a sense of fulfillment. It's happiness that comes, when you do something that is very close to your heart. And I think purpose is very personal. It's that sense of motivation with which you go to office every day, thinking that you are not just doing 9 to 5s. You are doing something you are really passionate about. It has to give you energy. It has to keep you rejuvenated. It has to keep you alive. It's just like feeling fueling you with something that has to keep you alive, and it's doing the work that you are really passionate about. So I think it's that feeling that is purpose. Purpose is not something. It's not an alienated concept. It's just feeling that keeps you energetic to do work every day.
Oh, that's very nice. I will end this session, Afan, but really inspired by your story. And
Thank you so much.
but before ending this session, I want concluding remarks from you or the advice which you want to go to the audience, whether they are at a student level or they are growing their career or something like that?
Nee, first of all, thank you so much. I'm humbled. In UET, I had never thought, that I'd be doing this session. It's really humbling, and I'm really grateful to you that you thought of me as someone who would, whose suggestions would be valued. I think for the young graduates or the graduates who are about to graduate, work hard, follow their passions. If you're not able to get a good GPA, forget it. The whole world is out there. They can take me as an example. 180 students, I was among the lowest 10 students. Now I'm alhamdulillah earning and at a position where I am better than most of the top 10 students, or I would say top 15 students. I'm not flexing this thing, I'm not blowing my own trumpet, but I have to work hard, to come across, the position where I am today. The journey has not been very easy. It has all its highs and lows. I think एक घंटे के इंटरव्यू में मैं बता नहीं सकता हूँ. There have been many sleepless nights, and stressful moments. But वक्त गुजर जाता है, and I never kind of defined myself with what people would think of me. When I was in UET or at NUST, I had my own set of sort of trajectory, and I was able to do and get something substantial out of what I always wanted to do.
Really nice. Thank you, Afan. Maybe we will again invite you to another show to have
Inshallah.
another aspect of the
Thank you,
story.
sir.
Really
Thank you,
nice, really nice.
Habib,
Thank you
for
very
your
much.
time. Really appreciate it.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye bye.